Stop apologizing for your intuition. Seriously, knock it off. You walk into a room, you say 0 words, but you can feel the air become heavy, almost like the static electricity before a storm. You haven't made a mistake. You haven't insulted anyone. Yet, there is a specific person in the corner whose energy instantly puts up a wall against you. They smile, they shake your hand, but your gut screams, danger. Why does this happen? Why does the person who offers the most, the one who genuinely wants to heal and help, often end up the target of the most confusing, irrational hostility? If you are an empath, you have lived through this paradox 1,000 times. It feels like a punishment, but psychology suggests it is actually a law of human dynamics. It isn't bad luck, it is energetic physics. Here is the raw truth about why your light bothers people who prefer the dark. Let's break down how this works. You need to understand that empathy isn't just a personality quirk or being nice. As an empath, you are basically a walking, breathing emotional tuning fork. You vibrate at a frequency of authenticity. When you enter a space, you don't just exist there. You unknowingly send out a signal that forces everything hidden in that room to echo in response. Picture it like walking into a dirty, abandoned house with a high-powered tactical flashlight. You are just trying to see where you're going. But for the people living comfortably in that dark home, your beam is invasive. It reveals the cracks in the walls, the dirt on the floor, and the mess they have been pretending isn't there. They don't hate you. They hate the chaos you just forced them to look at. This is where the psychological concept of the shadow comes in. Every single human has a shadow side, a mental basement where they stuff their insecurities, their jealousy, and the parts of themselves they are ashamed of. Most keep that cellar door locked tight. But here is the catch. As an empath, your presence picks the lock. You don't even mean to do it. You could just be sitting there, drinking your coffee, listening to a friend talk about their day. But because you are listening with your soul, not just your ears, you reflect their truth back to them. You act as a high-definition mirror. If they are wearing a mask of confidence but feel like a fraud inside, looking at you makes them feel exposed. Visualize a scenario you might recognize. You are at a family gathering or a dinner party. You are being your genuine, warm self. Everyone seems fine, except for that one cousin or colleague who starts making small, passive-aggressive digs. Maybe they mock how deep you are, or they roll their eyes when you show real excitement. To the average observer, this person just seems bitter. But to an empath, the interaction is different. That person sees your emotional freedom, and it reminds them of the cage they have built for themselves. They resent you because you are walking proof that it is possible to be open and survive. Your existence is a silent accusation that they are living a lie. And here is where it gets tricky for you. Since you feel everything, you feel their resentment. And usually, you make a common mistake. You take it personally. You wonder, maybe I was too loud. Maybe I'm too much. I should tone it down. Don't do that. When you dim your light to make others comfortable, you are essentially agreeing to help them fool themselves. Let's look at the wounded healer archetype. This is a massive factor in why you attract these strange enemies. You didn't get this sensitivity by accident. Often, empaths are forged in fire. You have worked through your own trauma, your own pain, and you have come out on the other side with wisdom. Subconsciously, people sense this on you. They sense you hold the medicine, the emotional depth they crave. But humans are paradoxical creatures. They want the cure, yet they hate the taste. They want your warmth, but they resent that you have it, and they don't. Remember the classic celebrity breakdown story we see in the headlines constantly? The public lifts someone up, obsessing over their talent and shine, only to brutally destroy them the moment they show a flaw. Why? Because the crowd projects their own golden shadow, their potential for greatness, onto that idol. When the idol turns out to be human, the crowd feels cheated. In your private world, you are that idol. People project their longing for love and connection onto you. But when they realize that being around you forces them to actually do the emotional work, they lash out. They try to drain your battery power because they don't know how to charge their own. You might see this in relationships where you feel like an emotional Wi-Fi hotspot that everyone is connecting to without a password. They use up your bandwidth, and when you finally buffer or need a reboot, they get angry. "Why aren't you working for me?" they seem to ask. So, how do you stop being the target? Or rather, how do you stop caring that you are a target? First, you must dismantle the savior complex. Yes, even you have a shadow. And for many empaths, it is the secret pride of thinking you can fix everyone. You figure if you just love them enough, their bitterness will turn into gratitude. Spoiler alert, it won't. Imagine you are a bouncer at an exclusive VIP club. That club is your energetic space. For years, you have been letting anyone in just because they looked sad or knocked hard. Now, you have to check IDs. When someone brings hostility or jealousy to your door, you don't need to fight them, you just don't let them in. This is what psychologists call differentiation. It means realizing where you and they begin. When someone shoots a glare or a snarky comment your way, picture it as a package being delivered to your porch. You don't have to sign for it. You can look at that box of bitterness and say, "Return to sender. That isn't mine." There is a profound freedom that comes when you understand their reaction has nothing to do with your worth. It is entirely about their internal battle. You are just the battlefield they happen to pick today. But here is the most critical part, the piece that turns this burden into a superpower. The people who are most triggered by you are often your greatest teachers. They are showing you exactly where your boundaries are weak. If their jealousy hurts you, it's because a part of you still needs their validation. If their anger drains you, it's because you are still leaving your back door unlocked. You have to evolve from being the martyr, the one who absorbs everyone's toxins, to being the alchemist. The alchemist watches the negative energy, understands it, but doesn't absorb it. Think about a lighthouse. A lighthouse does not run down the beach chasing boats to save them. It stands on the rock, it shines. Some ships use the light to navigate safely. Others might crash on the rocks because they weren't paying attention. But the lighthouse does not apologize for shining, and it certainly doesn't dim its bulb because a captain is incompetent. As an empath, your job is to stay on the rock. The next time you feel that wave of unexplained hostility from a coworker, a friend, or a family member, stop. Take a breath. Do not shrink. Do not apologize. Recognize it for what it is, a symptom of their own spiritual fever. Hold your frequency, because the world is full of people wearing masks, and it is exhausting. When you have the bravery to show up with your bare face and your open heart, you are doing something radical. Some people will hate you for it. Let them. Their reaction is just fear disguised. But others, the ones who are ready, will see you and finally feel safe enough to take off their own masks. And that is worth every confused stare and every awkward moment. Keep shining. The right people are looking for you.